This stateroom is protected by the privacy laws. You are not the legal occupant assigned to this stateroom. A VIS override code is required to gain access to this space. Access granted.
Lieutenant Michael Dahl's stateroom looks pretty much like every other stateroom, apart from this massive safe right here in the corner. And it's quite a substantial safe. It's made of Arica alloy, and it's equipped with a retinal scanner. Now, I smell a puzzle here. The big question is, how can we access this safe without Dahl's eyes? I'm sure we will work it out in time, but right now, this remains a mystery. I mean, we have the option to open and break, but somehow I doubt that these are going to work. Yes, of course it is. So this safe is made out of the same material that is used for Starship hulls and hover tank armor. Now, what is inside here that needs protecting so securely? Other than that, there is nothing really of interest in here. Dahl's bookshelf contains mainly philosophy books, wave particle duality, and the nature of self, the Tao of computer-assisted healing, Beyond Spaceship Earth, searching for meaning in the universe. Again, these drawers contain nothing interesting, so there's no point in trying them. Let's move onwards. We do not have access codes to two of these doors, but this one here should be ours. I mean, I would have thought there would have been more information here, but never mind. So yes, this is our stateroom. We will visit decks 3 and 4 at some point soon. I think we will reach deck 3 in this video. And yes, it's our own bed, but we cannot be bothered at all. I mean, I thought there might be some sort of relief here. A file pack of our personal effects. So we've just left a box of stuff on the floor. Which means we haven't really unpacked. Although I guess maybe we have not been here that long. Holodiscs, souvenirs from our first tour in the Navy, non-perishable food items, nothing too interesting. There are no personal logs on the terminal. An old keepsake, which is not even our own personal photograph. We found it in a junk shop. Okay, so what books did we bring with us? That's not exactly descriptive. We got to know some of the other crew members by their selection of books. But for some reason, our own book collection just makes us even more of a mystery. Alright, so we have a to-do list. Again, even more of a mystery. So far, all we know about ourselves is that we like antique collecting, I guess, and paperweights. Alright, again, there's nothing interesting in these drawers. So far, it seems like we are not very interesting. Why are we disappointed? Surely we already know what's in there. Okay, so we're done for now on deck 2. A big part of these games is going to be exploration, so it may seem a bit slow to begin with. I mean, this is now video number 3, and we are only just about to leave deck 2. We now have access to all habitat module decks, the weapons bays, reactor spaces, engineering areas, and the aft section of the ship.
A yellow keycard is required to gain access to other decks.
You mean this one?
Access granted.
Wow. We have many decks to explore. I mean, there is a somewhat optimal way of playing through this game, but there's no rush to get through. And it seems like we have solved one immediate danger. And I don't believe there are death sequences. So I'm going to start with the top and work our way down. So let's go to the bridge.
Deck 1.
Yep, there's only one room, and that is the bridge itself. pretty much a standard sci-fi bridge. The captain's chair, officers' chairs, a view screen, which I'm not sure if it's just turned off or covered. Although it says here the view outside is breathtaking. But the view itself is very, well, there's no actual description of what we can see. An equipment cluster. Lights, sensors, air vents, other equipment. The command chair. We have to try to sit on it. Alright. Well, it seems like we are still not much fun. And now we have plenty of screens that we cannot really interact with. Although they are nice and colourful. We are currently in orbit around a sixth planet of a star called Deneb Kaitos, also called Beta Ceti. Okay. The primary tactical interface is on the other side, which we will take a look at very soon. Right now I have no idea if these are of any importance. We have no idea what it does, so yeah, let's try to use it. Data collection, analysis subsystem for one of the sensor arrays. So why is there options to use these things if we cannot and refuse to do so? Controls for overriding the computer settings for life support system. Venting thresholds, particle filtration levels and ambient humidity. Alright. Controls for overriding the main computer settings. Pressure, temperature, oxygen, nitrogen balance for the habitat module's atmosphere. Okay. Well, we're not going to kill ourselves just yet. So we have a external camera that's mounted on a ship's radiator fin. TS abort. Okay, so we have a panic button. It will manually abort a computer sequenced Tal Ceto faster than light jump right up until the jump drive cores engage. We're not in the middle of a sequence, but let's try it anyway. You see, here we go. We slam our hand onto the prominent abort key. Why don't we do this with other systems? Idiot switches, then this seems like one for us. so they've already been flipped. We don't want manual control of all the ship systems back. Yeah, probably not. 8 arms and 4 brains short. Bodorsal Urks controls? Emergency reaction control system. Thrusters. Which are anti-collision devices. I mean, all this sounds important, but I doubt we're going to use probably 99% of it. Although I could be wrong. So what is the plan then? We repair the ship and then we just sit here? No attempt to move it? Cryo? I'm guessing, if I had to guess, cryo maybe stands for cryogenics? We fix the ship, then freeze ourselves until help arrives? OMS. What does OMS mean? Alright, well, that told us. But still, we are none the wiser. Master caution. Supposed to provide an overall warning that something is wrong. And prompt review of specific ship problems. It has little real utility. Well, I'm glad it's here then. Oh wow, okay, we have an intercom right here. So we won't sit on people's chairs or lie in their beds, but we will make announcements over the PA system. Alright, we are done here. That's all we can do right now, is just look around and poke things.
Deck 3.
Right, so more quarters to the west and a rather large room to the east. Let's start with east. The mess hall is where meals are taken by the crew. Self-service. And it's where the television is. Well, the VR system. It's the only communal space on the ship. Okay. Well, I mean, there's not much to do with the room itself, but we will check out the VR system. I'm not sure how much interest there is with a table. I mean, it's where people eat, but we can attempt to sit on it. I'm not sure how a chopstick ended up tilted at a rather painful angle, but here we go. Mark IV Variable Acceleration Null Grav Automated Consumables Dispenser. Sounds ravishing. This dispenser is capable of providing hungry crew members with meals and drinks, ranging from 0G to a bone-crunching 4 gravities. I mean, I know people were being sent to their deaths, but they can at least clean up after themselves. Congealed Kung Pao chicken. Sounds lovely. Sony Matsushita VR system. I'm surprised there's a brand name in this game. We can access the VR system. And we have 2 videos we can watch. Sit back and enjoy.
Welcome to the USS Lexington orientation. The United States Congress authorized the development of a new class of warships in 2109 as new Cold War tensions between alliance states and the United Nations escalated. These ships were designated as light cruisers Bunker Hill class and were designed to be fast, lightly armored, and heavily armed. The USS Lexington is one of 9 Bunker Hill light cruisers built between 2111 and 2127. During the first half of 2133, the Lexington was the first Bunker Hill class ship to undergo an extensive modernization at the McHenry yards around Starholm. She was equipped with brand new weapon systems, an improved interplanetary drive, a new computer system, and an upgraded communication system. The Lexington is equipped with 3 propulsion systems. The first propulsion system is the Orbital Maneuvering System, or OMS. The OMS consists of several chemical reaction thrusters for use when in orbit or when maneuvering in close proximity to other ships. The second propulsion system is the interplanetary drive, used for travel inside a star system. 4 deuterium-tritium fusion pulse drive engines are fed by a linear accelerator that runs down the spine of the ship from fuel tanks mounted near the bow. A continuous stream of microscopic frozen deuterium-tritium fuel pellets is accelerated into the 4 thrust chambers with magnetic containment at the stern of the ship. High-energy lasers bombard the fuel pellets and create a fusion reaction by implosion. Thrust is channeled backwards. A fraction of the resulting energy is fed back into large capacitors which are used to fire the lasers for the next explosion. The interplanetary drive can produce and maintain a constant acceleration of up to 6 gravities for extended periods. Large radiator fins on the outside of the ship help to regulate temperature. The third propulsion system is the Talsetto faster-than-light jump drive, located on the boom forward of the bow. The jump drive allows instantaneous travel along threads of space-time deformation that exist between the Talsetto jump points found in many star systems. A conventional liquid-cooled nuclear reactor mounted forward of the engineering compartments of the ship is used to charge the capacitors for the ignition of the fusion engines and provide power for the linear accelerator, life support, and all of the ship's electrical systems. The Lexington's principal weapons system is a complement of 18 Lockheed Martin RC-09 Basilisk multi-mission autonomous strike craft, also known as battle drones. Up to 9 of the 18 drones can be active at one time. The drones are deployed using rotary launchers mounted in 3 weapons bays. These bays are arrayed in an equilateral triangle around the core of the ship. Each drone is capable of carrying several types of ordnance mounted on standard hardpoints on the dorsal and ventral surfaces. Drone weapons include anti-ship missiles, torpedoes, particle beam guns, railgun cannons, and lasers. A Basilisk drone with a full combat ordnance load is capable of accelerating at 100 gravities. The Lexington is also armed with a Close-in Combat System, or CICS, that serves as a weapon system of last resort if any enemy drones or long-range weapons penetrate a defensive screen of Basilisk drones. The CICS consists of 8 missile launchers, 2 railgun turrets, and several chaff ejectors mounted at various points on the Lexington's outer hull. The Lexington's standard crew complement is 20. Her maximum complement is 25. The crew is housed in the Habitat module of the Lexington, a large rectangular structure mounted well forward of the reactor and fusion engines. The Habitat module includes the bridge, crew quarters, communication center, medical and science labs, mess hall, computer center, and storage areas. With a combination of speed, range, and firepower, the USS Lexington is able to project Alliance military strength out to the farthest star systems. She has proven herself in combat and has a distinguished service record built over a period of years. Yet she also has some of the newest and best technology available. Veteran officers and enlisted personnel vie for the privilege of serving on the Lexington and contributing to the continuing story of one of the most capable ships in the Alliance fleet. We are all familiar with the short version of the events that led to this terrible war. During the second half of the 21st century, the leaders of the world government got a glimpse of the shape of things to come. They were afraid of what they saw. Their reaction was to deny the inevitable, slamming the brakes on all technological progress. In 2082, a group of states led by the United States, Canada, Australia, and Japan decided that the cure was worse than the disease. The UN power structure reacted violently to the repeal attempt. States participating in the repeal campaign were targeted for brutal suppression by UN enforcement. Signatories to the Singapore Treaty formed the Alliance of Free States and announced their secession from the United Nations. They were joined by every major planetary colony settlement and orbital habitat. In 2085, large-scale armed conflict returned to Earth for the first time in over 100 years. The UN immediately invaded the territory of the seceding nations on Earth. UN hover tanks, troops, and ground support aircraft clashed with new Alliance military units made up of men and women from Alliance states who defected from UN control. The war ground to a halt after less than 2 months, as both sides ran out of soldiers, weapons, and materiel. The Alliance states managed to hang on to their home territories. An uneasy truce was negotiated between the UN and the Alliance, and the world entered an uneasy period known as the New Cold War. In 2111, the UN attacked again, and war returned on an interplanetary scale. Population centers on Earth and the colonies were bombarded from space by particle beam weapons. Armies fought tank battles supported by buzzing swarms of aircraft. Starships battled each other over asteroid mines, orbital habitats, and planetary installations. The furious pace of the war once again chewed up the stocks of men and materiel in a matter of months. This time, there was no truce. In spite of economic exhaustion, the two sides continued to fight a war of attrition, a war that has since lasted more than 20 years and shows no signs of ending. The war has continued despite the price paid by both sides because all of the combatants are convinced that they are on the right side. The UN firmly believes that unchecked technological development will kill off the human race. The alliance states are just as firm in their convictions that death is better than life without freedom and without forward progress.